Morning. First thing we do is we thank Hashem that we have our souls back, we have our bodies back, we can walk, we can talk, we can see, we can do many, many different things. And the sages decided that together with all these blessings, we also have to make some spiritual blessings, thanking God, thanking Hashem for the opportunity to study Torah. So most things is one blessing for the bracha on the learning Torah, the blessing of studying Torah, and thanking God for the opportunity to study Torah. We have three blessings. Why three blessings? Why is one blessing not enough? Obviously, it's an important thing, so you have lots of blessings, but it has to make sense. So one blessing, obviously, last week we said is for the mitzvah of studying Torah, of the opportunity of making a relationship with God through studying Torah. When we study Torah, we spoke last week, it's not just a regular relationship, it's the most intimate relationship you possibly can make with Hashem. It's like you become one with Hashem. Hashem becomes one with your mind. It's an incredible opportunity. But this week we're going to look at a second concept, and that's the second bracha, which is on page 8, which this blessing, we need to understand why we need another blessing now. So last week it was concerning the words of Torah. This week we say, this bracha, the second bracha now, is, Lord our God, make the teachings of your Torah pleasant in our mouths. It's on page 8. And in the mouths of your entire people, the house of Israel. Okay, that's a blessing that the Torah should be pleasant. We should enjoy it. That sounds good. And may we, our children, the children of your entire people, the house of Israel, all be knowers of your name and students of your Torah for its sake. So it seems to be like sort of different themes over here in this blessing. One is we ask Hashem that we should enjoy the Torah, it should be pleasant. And then we seem to be speaking about asking God that our children and our grandchildren, the children of all of Israel, everybody should be knowers of the Torah. So what is the connection between the pleasantness or the sweetness of the Torah and the children? And the blessing that we say, may our children and the children of all of Israel be knowers of Torah. Here I think there's a very, very deep message in this bracha. And first of all, I want to tell you that this bracha, to me, is the reason why we have a second bracha is because of different kinds of blessings. You make a blessing when you do a mitzvah, let's say. You blow the shofar, you make a bracha. You read the Megillah, you make a bracha. You put on tefillin, you make a bracha. You light Shabbos candles, you make a bracha. Those are known as the blessings for mitzvahs, every time we do a mitzvah. So, likewise, before we study Torah, we make a bracha. Like the custom is, the tradition is in the synagogues, so when we go to shul, and someone's called for an aliyah to the Torah, they make a blessing on the Torah before they read the Torah. That is a blessing on the mitzvah. But then there is another category of mitzvahs, another category of blessings. Totally different category of blessings, and that is blessings for pleasures of life. That we thank Hashem for the pleasures Hashem gives us in life. So let's say when you eat a fruit, you make a borei priya eitz. You eat a vegetable, you say borei priya adama. You eat a piece of bread, hamoitzi lechem min haaretz. All the different pleasures of life we have, we thank Hashem. The sages say that it is forbidden to partake in any pleasure in this world without thanking God for it. And that is why the sages established blessings before we eat things, before we have any pleasure in things. There's a bracha. So here comes the whopper. Here comes the key thought over here. This second bracha is not a bracha for the mitzvah of Torah. It's a bracha for the pleasure of Torah. We're thanking God, like when you eat something, you swallow something, you taste something good from this world, you thank God for the opportunity of being able to partake of the sweetness of this world. Likewise, when we enjoy Torah, it's not just a blessing, I'm doing a mitzvah. No, it's a joy, it's It's you're like eating a good steak. You're eating a good kugel. So you're enjoying something. I don't know what ice cream, like an ice cream, right? It's like, wow, this is sweet. This is like honey sweet. So before you partake in the studying of Torah, there's one bracha that you make because you're thanking God for the mitzvah, for fulfilling the commandment of studying Torah. But then there's another aspect of Torah, which is another side of Torah, and that is the sweetness of Torah. That is so important that when we study, it's not just a dry mechanical act. Hashem wants that when we study Torah, we should enjoy it. And that's what he says over here. Make the teaching of Torah pleasant in our mouths, like yummy. It should be something that's delicious. And that's why we're making this blessing. We're making a blessing over something which is delicious. And why is it important that it's delicious? Why is it important? So there's two reasons I'm going to tell you why it's so important. That when we study Torah, it has to be something which is enjoyable, palatable. To be something like you're eating something. For two reasons. The first reason is because that is the whole purpose of the whole creation, of the whole world and everything we have. The whole purpose of the world is to bring God down into this world. And every time we do a good deed in this world, every time a person, a Jew, does something good, that act draws down Hashem into this world. Like we spoke many times about the word bracha. The word bracha means a channel. It's not just when you say the word bracha. Bracha is not just a words that you say before you eat something and before you do a mitzvah. No, it's a channel. Every mitzvah we do is a connection. And that's what we're trying to do in this world, is to make the world tikkun olam, to correct the world, to fix the world, to make the world a better place. And every time we do a mitzvah, in one way or another, one shape or another, we are drawing down Hashem, the Shekhinah, into this world. But now comes the zinger over here. How do we really bring down God into this world with the mitzvahs? The greatest way of bringing down God into this world is to bring him down into this world. What does that mean, into this world? When you're doing something just because you have to do it, a commandment, because your parents tell you to do it, or you do it as a tradition, that means you're doing it because you have the yoke of history on your back. You're a Jew, you have to do it. You have to do it. Right? So you're doing it. You're doing what you have to do. Your parents say you have to do it. The rabbi says you have to do it. But that godliness hasn't really arrived in your world. It hasn't really come into this world. It's there in a peripheral way. It hasn't been internalized. It hasn't been brought into the world. Like, you have a mathematical concept. 1 + 1 is 2. That's math, right? It's pretty simple math, right? Mathematical concept. Is the concept here? It's not really here. It's in the world of math. It's like in a spiritual. If you take an apple with another apple and you put them together, you say 1 + 1 is 2. Then you're bringing it down into reality, into almost in the same way. We have ideas of the Torah that are being taught to us, but if we don't resonate with it, we don't bring it into our world, then godliness has not arrived in this world. Just another example, like you have a famous example of a thief, a ganef. You ever heard of a ganef? Yeah. A ganef is a We all know what a ganef is, right? We've met those people before in our lives, right? So the ganef, Gemara says that a ganef, before the ganef goes and does his thievery, before he goes and he commits the crime, he goes to shul and he davens that Shabbos or whatever, that he should be successful. Not only does he daven in shul, but the moment he's about to commit the crime, he takes out, like he says, Hashem, please help me that the police shouldn't catch me, right? That I shouldn't be caught doing my geneva. So that's a ganef, a puma de machtarte rachmanakaya, the ganef on the doorway of his thievery calls out to Hashem. How does he call out to Hashem? What's going on over here? It's contradiction in terms, right? If you believe in God, how are you stealing? And if you're stealing, then you're not a believer. So how do the two things work together? The answer is simple. Thief believes in God, and he knows that God says, "Thou shalt not steal." But he hasn't translated it internally. It hasn't become part of his life. It's in his. It's there. The belief is like a superficial thing. It's not a way of life. It's not who he is. It's beyond his world. It's not in his world. What we want from Torah is that it should resonate with us. Meaning it should be part of our logic. It should be part of our understanding, it should be contemporary, not an old-fashioned thing, right? We want that the Torah should have relevance and be a part of our lives. And that's the way that's what sweetness means. Sweetness means that it's not somewhere else. It's something that you live by. You buy into it. You take it, you make it part of your life. A, and B is you also enjoy it. You enjoy your learning because it's something that you internalized into yourself, and in that way, you're drawing the Shekhinah, you're drawing Hashem down into this world. Because by the thief, let's say, God is there, but he's not here. He's somewhere up in the periphery. As someone mentioned before, he's not concrete. You know, the rabbi was once kids in front of the shul. They were pouring some new sidewalk, some pavement in front of the shul, and the kids, like always, they make troublemakers. One of the kids put like his name into the pavement. You know, I was here in 2024. And then the rabbi saw what happened, and he came and he started shouting at the kids, saying, "What are you doing? How dare you?" So the rabbi's wife came and said to the rabbi, "You just gave a speech how nice you have to be to kids, not to shout at the kids. You spoke all about loving children, loving the kids." So the rabbi says, "Yeah, I guess I love children in the abstract, but not when they're in the concrete." So it's a difference when you're in the abstract or when you bring it down into the concrete. So, my friends, that's the first pointer I want to make over here, is that when Torah is something we understand and we develop it to be part of it. A lot of times I have problems with, like, you have to make things contemporary. Ideas need to be the ideas of the Torah can't stay old, stale. They need to be new. We constantly have to be looking for new words. The ideas are amazing, but we have to bring it to the world, bring it down into the world in a way that's understood. And when it's understood in today's language, then it becomes a real thing. And here I come to the second thing, the secret of the continuity. Why does it speak about continuity here in this bracha? It says, and give it over to our children, and the children of all of Israel. We're talking about enjoying the Torah and the blessing of the Torah that you say, delicious Torah. The answer is that is the key to continuity. That continuity can happen. How do we pass it on to our children? The only way it's going to pass on to our children is if they see that we are enjoying what. So when you have joy in what you're learning, that's how you pass it on. A child sees a parent and they see that the parent is enjoying what they're doing, then they want to be that themselves. Why do we see sometimes the children follow in the paths of their parents and sometimes not? Sometimes they reject it. Sometimes you see that you have a parent is a doctor and none of the children are doctors. I'm just an example, random example, right? And sometimes you have a guy is a rabbi. All of his children decide to be rabbis. What is it about one that inspires the children and another one can't inspire them? The answer, I think, it's not the only answer, but it's an important answer, is that if the children see that the parent enjoys what they're doing and they savor it, they wake up every morning and they're excited about what they're doing. So they'll also continue to be rabbis because they see that their parents enjoyed that lifestyle, that it's like such a happy lifestyle. But if they come home and they hear the rabbi speaking to his wife and saying about this one and about that one, what's going on in shul and the politics and how they're difficult, how challenges, and nobody's listening and everybody's no good, and the generations is going off the tracks and nobody cares anymore about Yiddishkeit and this is a waste of time and I don't know what I'm doing and I need a raise and I'm not happy with my financials, I'm not happy with this and the rabbi's always poor and I can't stand it anymore. Why does this one have so much and we don't have it in the house? And I'm just giving you some examples that could happen, not in my house, could happen around the world. Then the kids, why would they want to go and do the same thing? They don't see the joy. They don't see it. Yeah, hi joy. They don't see the happiness of what they're doing. So there won't be continuity then. But when they see that a parent wakes up in the morning, it's like if a kid sees the parent likes sports and they wake up and they're enjoying the sports and having fun and they're into the Super Bowl. And the kids also they come along because they see. The best way to teach your children is not by telling them what to do. It doesn't work that way. The best way to teach them is by enjoying what you're doing. And if they see that joy, they will emulate your path. They will emulate your way. So this is the key over here. This is the bracha over here. The bracha says, you want your children to follow the ways of Torah. You want your children to study Torah. Start learning Torah yourself. Start enjoying it. Let them see that you're not just enjoying, you're savoring it. As it says over here, Lord our God, make the teachings of the Torah pleasant to your mouth. You see it, if they see it's like fun, you're enjoying it, you're animated, you're jumping for joy every day when you can study another little bit of Torah. In my house, one of the things that impressed me the most in my life was every night my father used to sit up hours and hours at night, and he used to have a big Gemara in front of him, and he would always sit and study and study and study. And this is something like he enjoyed doing, and that image is etched in my mind, and that joy is what he passed on to me. And that we can all do that to some degree as well in our lives. If we take books of Torah, we study and we discuss things by the table, at the Shabbos table, and the kids see that these are the things you enjoy it. You enjoy learning. The secret of the Jewish people has been our studying and learning. not just because we're doing it as a routine, but because we enjoy it. We savor it, we taste it. And when you enjoy something, that is the key over here of passing on to the next generation. So this is the link of these two themes of this bracha here, the second bracha, which we say this second bracha is the bracha of a blessing of the Birchas Hanen, pleasure, the pleasure of Torah, very important. And as we said before, that when you have pleasure, you're going to bring down the Shekhinah, Hashem, internally and bring it down to this world. And also you will succeed then in passing it on from generation to generation. We see that this is something that power of the Israeli soldiers. You look at the soldiers that are there, and if you're a soldier and you're just going to war and you have to do it, it's your job and you're drafted, you'll never win the war. But you look at these young kids, how they're so dedicated and so internalized. They've taken these ideas and you see some of the video clips of how they dance and they sing Ani Mamim, their faith in God and their faith in the Jewish people, and their faith in Israel. This is what's going to make us win the war, is by the internalization of our values and fighting for those values, because it's part of it's something that we care for. And in the Israeli army, you see parents, children and grandchildren already now, 3 generations going to the army. And and each one giving over to the other one about the dedication and how important saving the Jewish people is. But it's not just saving the Jewish people; it's also the love of the Jewish people, the love of Hashem, and the love of the Torah. And then it is something that is strong and continues and goes on from generation to generation, because if you don't really enjoy what you're doing, eventually it dissipates. So we need, and like a lot of times we have kids that come here, and one of the most important things is to try to teach them about the Torah and about Hashem, to give them logic, to make it logically palatable, to speak to the kids and argue with them and talk to them on their level, and speak to them about their science and their things, and show them how the Torah reconciles with science, to show them how the Torah is a very, very deep, profound, important part of their lives, but also logical. It makes sense. This is depth, layers and layers of depth. We need to make it theirs, that they buy into it. They see that this is what's kept the Jews. Because what's kept the Jews thousands of years is this book called the Torah. That's what's kept us alive all these years, is our value system, which is in the Torah. But we need to make it sweet. And that's why we need good educators and good teachers. And we need people that'll make it something that they enjoy. Anyways, it's a thought for the day. Any questions? Anybody, Rabbi say? Yeah, question, Sonia.
I'm so glad, Rabbi, that you talked about the soldiers, because all along throughout the first part of your presentation, I was thinking, how do the young boys, when they know they are entering the tunnels and they are killing possibly their enemies. Is there a bracha, or is there something that I wouldn't say excuse the killing, but how the process is done? Because all along when you were talking, I was thinking, but I'm so glad that you mentioned the soldiers and the situation.
Wow.
Plus, I wanted to tell you, when I'm reading Torah on my own, it felt very lonely. But thanks to you, now I am always asking, what would Rabbi Plotkin say about this paragraph? And how would he explain this?
Sure.
And it makes it much more interesting. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Rabbi, can I answer Sonia from experience?
You go ahead.
Sonia, when you're looking down the barrel of your firearm and somebody's looking down the barrel of looking at you down the barrel of their firearm, there's no question what you're going to do. You don't think twice. It's reaction.
That is true, but
From experience.
What I find very heartwarming was something about Israeli soldiers in this particular. You see some of the kids, they're like, they don't even look the soldier type. They look like academics to me. You know what I mean? They look like a kid from down the street in Thornhill. And you see some of these soldiers, and they're motivated, and they're deep. They're deep kids. They're deep kids that have great faith and great belief, and they know that they're fighting for a just cause. And they're fighting for a just cause, and then they're fighting to defend Israel, and we only have one Israel, and to defend our people. And when you know deep down that the future of the Jewish people is all dependent on them, you don't need to be a guy that looks buff or whatever. You could be a scholarly type too, but you succeed. You can succeed in what they're doing. They have the Israeli armies trained very well, as you can see, and they know what they're doing.
The best trained in the world.
Yeah, and they know what they're doing, and they don't, and they have a lot of faith. The kids. That's really what's really. They have to have tefillin, and they have tehillim, and they have. Thank God, please God, Am Yisrael Chai. We should have an end to the war, and all the hostages should come home, and there should be peace in the north, and peace in the south, peace in the east, peace in the west.
Peace everywhere. Peace in the world.
End to the exile.
Forget about that.
Taloi Golos. Okay, guys, have a great
Shabbat.
Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
Israel.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.